Hey guys, welcome to the third part of our Crown Express series. Today we're going to go over the Data Setup tab. Now, the Data Setup tab is used to manage and edit your information related to your customers and your company. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to go over is the Users option. Here it takes you to the screen where you can manage who is able to log in. What you want to do is go ahead and click New, and it gives you a bunch of fields where you can enter in the name, username, and password for your user. Down here below, you can choose what they have accessibility to. If you want them to be able to delete shipments, manage users, things like that, that's what they're able to view and do when they log in with their username. Now onto address, terminals, customers, and drivers. All these sections allow you to simply add and edit the addresses, customers, or drivers. Here's a list of addresses that we have. If you ever want to add a new one, go ahead, hit New, and you're able to put the information in here. If you ever want to edit your addresses, you can go ahead, click it, it'll bring up the information, and you can edit your addresses. The same idea goes with terminals, customers, and drivers. So these are some of the sample terminals we have. For customers, we have a list of all our customers here. If we want to open our customer up, we can see the information split up into 4 different tabs: General, Billing, Default, and Communication. General will be your general information such as name, contacts. Billing is where you can assign your default move type and your default rate tables for certain service levels, such as pickup, delivery, and door-to-doors. Under Invoice Info, you can choose how many lines you want per invoice once you export it out into your QuickBooks. You can choose your invoice number where you want it to start at. Here we can go to Default, and we'll see our completion requirements. Now in the review screen, when you click the check mark, it will tell you what are your missing completion requirements. Here you can set them up per customer. Whichever ones that you want it to be a requirement before it's completed, you just check it off and choose it here. And you can change this anytime. Now the Communications tab is pretty much used more on our end, but here we have the Crown Connect options. If you guys have Crown Connect and use it with your customers, when you set up the username and password for them, you can go ahead and check off Enable Crown Connect. This allows your customer to be enabled to use the Crown Connect system. We do have a video on Crown Connect, so go ahead and check that out. The EDI options here is when you send over an EDI request, we would set it up here just to make sure that the customer that is set up with EDI has it available. Now, if you go back to our customers, say we want to make a change all across, instead of making it and opening each customer individually, what we can do is a bulk update. Once you click bulk update, you have the ability to check off multiple or all customers and choose to make changes in either billing options, default values, or communication settings. Let's say I want to choose billing options. If I click next, it's going to take me to a screen where I can make changes to the billing options. And anything that I save here is going to update all the customers that I checked off. This is really helpful if you have a single change for most or all of your customers. That way you don't have to open them up individually, make a change, go back and change it again. I go back into the Data Setup tab and head over to Drivers. Same ideas, addresses and customers. You enter in your drivers here. If I head over to the Details tab, here is where I can enter some of my driver details such as social security number, security ID, and things like that. Now, if you have Crown Mobile with us, this is where you would set up their mobile unit. Here you choose which unit they are assigned to, and here you want to make sure it's set to Crown Mobile Online. That way we connect your driver in the system to the mobile device that they have. If your driver is an owner-operator, you want to go ahead and check that off and just pop in their settlement information here. If you have any additional information about your driver, you can go ahead to the Employment tab and enter it in over here. We're going to go back to Vehicles. Now here is where you can enter your vehicle and its information. If you go ahead and click New, you can enter in the vehicle type and vehicle number. The font in red is what is definitely needed, and the others are optional, but it can help you if you enter it in. If you want to edit it, same idea goes. If you click Edit, you can go ahead and edit the information here. Company setup is where you set up the general information about how you want your company to be set up and function out of Crown Express. Split up into 4 tabs: General, Company Options, AR Export, and Color Profile. For General, this is just where you enter in your general information about your company, name, address, things of that sort. Under Company Options, here it's a little more specific. You can choose some options where when you're on a shipment, if you want to save a shipment with errors, or if you want to make sure that your user goes back, fixes the errors, and saves it. You have another option about closing shipment on save. Just a couple of things to make it a little easier for you to process your shipment on a daily basis. Some default information you have. You can choose how long you want your codes to be active. Default appointment window, default ETA, and default deadline just means when you click the clock in your shipment entry screen, it shows up these times here. If you run low on EDI units, you'll see a message on your home screen that you have 100 EDI units left, 200 units left, and things of that sort. If you have document imaging with us, you go to Document Imaging Setup, and this is where you can label your slots and make them available. You can also choose to make the slots multiple or required. Now if you go to Barcode Options, Report Barcode Options allows you to print a barcode on these shipment reports. You can enter in the coordinating document slots here. This will allow you to print out the shipment reports, gather the information you need, and then scan it back to the coordinating slot from the shipment it was printed from. Now we're going to head to our AR export screen. Here is where you have some export settings for your QuickBooks. Now you can set up your income and AR account here, so you can go ahead and name them. Under invoice numbering, you can choose how you want the invoices to start numbering when you import them into QuickBooks. You can choose the current invoice number as 1 or where you need it to begin. Your export settings here. So if you see this text over here, you notice that there's some fields in curly brackets. This just means that the house bill will be entered here, the pieces will be entered here, the weight will be entered here. Now you can choose what kind of information you want to pull out. If you go to the help file and head over to Billing Export and QuickBooks Setup, scroll down, and here you have a list of all your export fields. You can customize and change what you want to be exported at any time. All you have to do is copy which one you want and go ahead and paste it here. You'll notice the /n that indicates the next line. So whatever information you want to put on the line after, go ahead and put in the /n and enter in your fields. If we head over to Color Profile, Crown Express allows you to indicate which shipments follow these criteria by choosing a color that coordinates with it. So if you want to show pickups within 60 minutes of close time, you can choose to see it as orange, green, blue, whichever thing that you want. When you check off Use Color Coding on Dispatch, this just allows all of these changes to take place. So if you want to quickly scan your dispatch screen, you can check Use Color Coding on Dispatch, and you can view your shipments according to the color you have set up. Now we're going to head over to our rating, split up into 3 sections: tariffs, surcharges, and fuel. Let's head over to tariffs. Here is where you have entered in all your standard tariffs or customer-specific tariffs. You can also edit the tariffs you have, as well as create new ones. If I want to create a new tariff, I can go ahead and click New, I can enter in my table name. Here I can choose the tariff type. If I have multiple zone lists, I can choose which zone list I wanted to pull from. I can choose my calculation method and bucket type. Now if I want to add fuel, I can choose if I want percentage or per mile. Go ahead and hit save, and it should save in your system. If you search for your tariff, you can click edit. You'll see this new button called new rate. Now here's your basic structure of how to enter in your tariff. You choose your from and to and base and cap if you have one. The first row is where you enter in your breaks. The second row is where you enter in the charges for your breaks. Now if you have your specials, you enter them in here. It separates it by days, time, Sundays, and holidays. If I go back, I can also choose to edit a tariff if I would like. If I click edit, it brings up the information contained in the tariff. Here it shows me what zone it's pulling from. And if I click edit, it pulls up the information on that row. I can come in here and change it at any time. I would just have to hit save to save the changes. Now if I go to surcharges, here we have a list of all the surcharges you may have in your system. To edit a surcharge, go ahead and click the surcharge, and it'll bring up the basic surcharge screen. You can choose your surcharge type, if it's a flat fee, per quantity, per pound. This is where you enter in the description and what you want to actually print out on the invoice. If you have weight breaks, you enter them in here, and then you enter the charge information over here. If I want to enter in a new surcharge, just go ahead and click new. If I go to rates and fuel, this is where I manage my fuel surcharges. Now you would notice that there is a percentage and a per mile, and there's an effective and an expiration date. You can set a specific fuel surcharge for a specific date range. Now before you go ahead and enter in the next one, you want to make sure to expire that date on the day you want to make the change. If I click edit, I will see that there is a warning that changing any information on active fuel will affect all the unposted shipments, which is why you want to make sure you expire old ones before you create new ones. If I click new, I'm allowed to enter in my fuel information, including the effective and expiration date. Once you hit save, it should show up here, and here you can take a look at which ones you have active or expired. City Zip allows you to search a certain zip code, city, or airport code, and it pulls up the area assigned to it. Go ahead and search that zip code. It's going to pull up all the areas assigned to the zip code and what zones they are in. Now from here, what I can also do is click edit, and I can manually assign or change these zones as well. There is also a feature where you can bulk assign areas, routes, or airports. What you would do is just check off the zip codes that you want to bulk assign, choose area, route, or airport. The last two pieces of information that we're going to go over are list maintenance and active views. List maintenance allows you to edit the selected fields, allows you to add selected fields in these categories below. If you want to add a field, what you would do is click new, choose the list you want to add to, and enter in the reason. Hit save, and you should see your item name below. Now, next time you want to choose a reason why a shipment is on hold, this will be populating into your Dropbox. Finally, let's go over the active views. If you go to Data Setup and Active Views, Here you are able to manage active views. Now what that means is you can choose a specific set of columns you would like to view on any of these screens. Let's use dispatch as an example. On the left side of the screen is what columns you have available to add. On the right side of the screen is what columns are selected from left to right. If I wanted to add anything to the columns that are already there, what I can do is click the piece of information I want to add, go ahead and click the right button. It's going to move it over to the selected screen, and I'll see it down below. Now if I want to change the order of it, what I can do is click it and move it up or down until I'm happy with where the location of the information is. Now if I wanted to remove the column, what I can do is click it and send it back. When I hit save, the information has updated, so next time you go into your dispatch screen, you'll be able to see the columns that you selected. And you can do that with any of these screens right here. That concludes our 3-part CronExpress series. Let us know if you have any questions, put them down in the comments below, shoot us an email or give us a call. We will help you out. Thanks so much for watching and stay tuned for more videos.